Today I want to talk about the importance of marketing with an example in dating. So some people might be like, what's the point of marketing? Why even bother? But if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, does it really make a sound? And that's incredibly true in dating. The fact of the matter is, having done a lot of approaches in my lifetime, daytime, nighttime, stuff like that, is women often tend to judge a book by its cover, like the vast majority of the time. And what my coaches, I've tried many coaches, is what my coaches tell me is that there's an importance to subtly bragging about yourself, because if you say nothing, and I used to think I have to be completely humble, don't mention anything about yourself, is they just assume you're a mediocre average person if that's what you present yourself with, and you never mention anything cool about you. They just judge a book by its cover. They assume you're a loser. They don't give you the time of day. And therefore, I had to kind of fight this thing about be humble. But then if I'm not saying a thing about me, I don't, mention in any way, then it just becomes what you see is what you get. And I found this to be the case pretty often. And dating advice is kind of controversial because a lot of people say, well, that's not true. And then they give some anecdote. But really, the real filter is, do you have what I want? Do you have the success in dating I want? And chances are, if you're about to write a comment saying, well, that's not true, this and that, you probably don't have the dating success that I want. There's, old men giving advice about dating, and they've only, gone on 3 dates in their lifetime and married their high school sweetheart. That's just not the credibility I want. And so with these coaches, they have tremendous success with women. They've helped many students go from bad to great. And so I trust their opinion. And their advice is essentially, you do it in you bring it out, but in a humble way. You may say oh yeah, I travel the world for business, but honestly, sometimes I wish I could just be home. That kind of tones down the intenseness, so you're not seeming like you're bragging or arrogant, because they also say that if you're qualified and it seems like you're trying to prove yourself too much, then it can also have the opposite effect. So it's kind of like a balance. But I wanted to say this because this was a very frustrating thing. I got very upset. In the past, I didn't want to say anything, and then I was mad that the women just kind of didn't give me a chance. And then the opposite happens, where maybe I try bragging and it just doesn't hit. So how does this relate to digital marketing? Well, if you never say a thing about your product, you don't have a website, you're not on social media, how on earth are they going to discover you? There are some things that are incredible out there. There's this little tag device that's much better than the AirTag. Does a lot more, can inform you about car crashes, all these different things. And I didn't know it existed. Why? Because it wasn't present on any of the digital or in-person areas that I wanted to be on. How did I eventually find it? Through a job posting. But because they weren't really speaking out about it as intensely and getting to the target market, I didn't even know it existed, so I couldn't even buy it even if I wanted to. So if you're not putting yourself out there and letting them know why you're different, they're going to assume you're the same. If that website didn't explain how it's different and better, and it just said AirTag equivalent or just a photo of their product, you assume it's just nothing special or different.